Hello guys, it's Masterpiece here, and today we are gonna go over my profile on the Holy Armor Control. So, we have 5 eggs. One's Upa. When attacking, if you have 3 less security, draw 1. That more go aligns with the Salamon, but that's not the main part of the eggs. I just like 5 because I think I am promoting a lot. So fifth egg is good, and a good egg is just Upa. The main key egg is Beelzemon. Beelzemon is when I play an option card that costs 2 or more, draw 1. And we do have all our options as cost 2 or more. So it's really good. And being an armor deck, your Digimon on the board will not die. So you can definitely benefit from this effect a lot. Going into our rookies now, we have Salamon. Salamon on deletion. If you have 3 or fewer security, trigger recovery +1. Now, is this the best part of the deck? No, but it's definitely a good part because you can definitely Digivolve on top of this. You don't have to just keep it as a Salamon, because now with it being, let's say, a Magnamon Rapidmon, your opponent has to think twice on deleting it, because now the deletion recovery is a really good effect that they don't really want that to proc. So that adds another layer into your opponent's mental steps. They have to sort of deal with it. Yeah, great, and also the recovery is great. Our next key card is going to be the Dakotamon. Dakotamon is our searcher. He's going to reveal top 5 and add 2 yellow Digimon with Holy Warrior. Now, what's Holy Warrior in our deck? We have 3 Holy Warrior Digimons, all added 3 to 4. We have Magnamon, we have Rapidmon, and we have Magnamon X. So pretty much you can always add a warrior or Holy Warrior into our hand, and you add 2 to also like net profit 1 from the on-play search. The only bad part is revealing more cards than needed and showing that your security is a bit safer. But it's a great card nonetheless. I love netting 1 in my hand. Next we got Starmon. Starmon on play. So for each Digimon in your battle area, your opponent's Digimon gets -1k. Now this can definitely pop small searchers if you have multiple Digimon on the board, but this more combines with the Rapidmon effect, which we'll go over. So we'll just move on to the next rookie. So our next rookie is going to be Armadillomon. Armadillomon on play, reveal top 4, get a 2-color yellow card into our hand. Now, about like a good third of our deck is dual color yellow, so you can grab pretty much a card every single time you search top 4. The only bad part is that it only grabs you 1, but that's okay. That's really all you need. You can grab all our champions, all our ultimates, all our megas. Is that all? No, we also have our Chaos the Great. We have this spicy tech. Yeah, that is about 22 cards in our deck of 50. Well, of 40 since you will have 5 in security, 5 in your hand. So yeah, really good chance you're gonna grab it. I think a good part of the deck is that you never have nothing to do in this deck. You always Digimon raising. You're like, oh, what do I do with this Digimon in my hand? You just play it. You play in search, and you have sort of our armor rush aggression. Now going into our champions, we have Magnamon. Magnamon is one of the key cards in our deck because it can warp into one of our ultimates really fast. Okay, so we can Digivolve for 3 on top of Vmon. That doesn't really matter, so we're always going to Digivolve for a cost of 4. First, it's a blocker. That's really strong because in this meta, people are just going to try to go for game a lot of times, and you just need that one little thing to stop them. Like for Beelzemon, they're going to charge security. What do you do from there? You just block. And you want to block as many times as possible, and this is just one of those cards. If you want to do aggression in this deck, you can definitely swing on top of their searcher or rookie that they swung with and that somehow survived. Just swing over them, Digimon Magnamon, unsuspends, and you'll be a blocker. Now will it be a DP boosted blocker majority of times? I wouldn't think so, because a lot of your opponents don't really check security too fast or too often. So he would typically not be TP boosted. Okay, so going to our next champion is going to be Rapidmon. Rapidmon is going to be our last champion, and similar to Magnamon, Digivolve for 4 since you have no Terrymon in this deck. Armor Purge is really good. You sort of are less scared to just swing because your Digimon won't die. You can just Digivolve into another armor. One great part about the Digimon is the when Digivolving effect. Suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon for each Tamer you have in play. We have a lot of Tamers in this deck. Up to 3 of your opponent's Digimon gets -5 KDP. Now, what does that delete? Typically, it deletes rookies and champions. Not all champions, so that might be a bit harder. Now, what do we do from there? this effect does not stack onto one Digimon, so you can't minus 5k one Digimon 3 times, but minus 5k it once. So one way we work around that is getting our Starmon from hand to minus another 2k, one being the Rapidmon in counting and the Starmon itself. So you can minus 7k into one Digimon. If you want DP minus a bit more, we have a tamer for that, which we'll go over later. But for now, I'll let you know the numbers. We're gonna minus 5k for Rapidmon, 2k potentially for Starmon, and 2k more from each tamer. For our ultimates, we have Shakamon. Shakamon DNA from a blue and yellow Digimon. So, the blue being Magnamon, yellow being Magnamon or Rapidmon. His when Digivolving is just recovery 1 if you have 5 or less security. That's really good because sometimes you just do want to stall it out. Because you don't want Digivolve on top of Magnamon since he is a blocker and that's a key part to stall. So if your Rapidmon's not really doing anything, you can Digivolve into a Shakamon and just get that recovery. Another good thing is if you're both, or let's say your opponent is at 2 security, your Magnamon swings, Rapidmon swings, they both live, and your opponent is just wondering how's he gonna end game. He's just gonna pass turn. Well, you just DNA from there and just swing for game. Because when you DNA, you don't really get summoning signatures, so you can definitely just swing. Another good thing is that when DNAing, when DNAing can bounce your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards under security. And since our deck is sort of stalling, as we're blocking, as we're deleting big threats on the board, we're typically going to be at a healthy amount of security. So without any other Digimon in counting when recovering, we can potentially bounce a level 6, which is huge. It really sets back your opponent. Typically, maybe you may have on deletions, you may have save, but if you bounce their Digimon, the save mechanic doesn't really matter. So sources are going to get trashed, and if that's a huge, big stacked Arrestramon, this is really great for you. Okay, going into our megas. We have a Phantomon fall down mode first. So we're going to pay that for it to Digivolve on top of the Shakamon, and just delete. Well, no, actually, we're not going to delete level 4 or lower since we don't have a purple source, but since we do have a yellow source, we're going to recovery 1. And unlike Shakamon, when recovering, we don't have a limit. So recovered with Shakamon, you go into 6. The Phantomon can get you to that 7, and you can swing with a Phantomon into security and not be worried about it. That being because you're just rushing, and has on deletion to allow you to play a yellow 4 lower Digimon. If you're trying to search, you can definitely just play your Kodamon and our Dillamon since they will get their on play, or potentially get Salamon to try to delete it next turn for recovery reasons. But you typically want to play the armors since you want to get more flexible plays, as in going to a Shakamon or going to your Magnamon X. Okay, going to our next mega is going to be Magnamon X. Might be hearing me say warp a lot. Yeah, that's because I'm mainly talking about this card. Going from a level 4 to level 6, you can warp your Magnamon for a cost of 4. You can definitely Digivolve your Shakamon into a Magnamon X, but is that the best course of action? No, most of the time you don't want that. You just want to warp. You only do Shakamon in a by case situation, but typically it's Magnamon. Because if you purge with this alternate solution, you can go into a Digimon that can block for you, that can also purge, and just keep that Digimon on the field forever. If you go into Shakamon with this alternate effect, it cannot block for you. It can definitely die and just let you have no board presence. Definitely warp most of the time. And skipping over to alternate effect and later going to the opponent's turn effect, when this Digimon is deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon on top of your security face down to prevent the deletion. You can definitely just be prepared to crash and not really get punished. It really set back your opponent. Another thing is, you can sort of redirect. So the opponent's turn effect, when opponent's Digimon attacks, this card has armor form, illustrates or X antibody. In sources, you may switch the target of attack to this Digimon. You will always have an armor in this source unless Blue Hybrid comes out and check your sources, but you will always have an armor. Be ready to redirect, especially if it's like a multiple check Digimon. So redirect it, use alternate effect to prevent deletion, and just go to your Magnamon. Really good card. This is one of the ace cards of the deck, especially against Beelzemon. Because Beelzemon have to decide, how am I going to answer this? And it's really hard for them. Anything that's a big blocker, especially that sort of prevents deletion, is hard for their deck. Okay, going next, we have our options. We only run 3 options. We have Reinforced Memory Boost. Check the top 2 cards of security. Sorry, check the top 2 cards of your deck. Place 1 security, place 1 in your hand. That's just a free recovery for 6. Holy Wave costs like 5 or 6 net recovers. But this does more. This nets you one. Well, this adds one to your hand, adds one to security, and you can delay to gain 3 memory. It's a really good card, and there's a reason why it's limited. Now, typically in this deck, you not be playing for 6 since your Tamers can help cover some of the cost, which I'll go over more a bit later. Yellow Memory Boost. Yellow Memory Boost is a good searcher, and it's also a good delay effect. Just gain 2 memory. So, with Beelzemon, a lot of times you can always just profit 1 off of playing all your memory boosts. So yeah, really good card to search and gain memory. All I can say. I guess if you want to need help on deciding when to use a memory, you definitely use it when you are sort of, well, particularly when you want to choke your opponent to 1, or if you're trying to go for a really expensive DNA play. But yeah, that's typically when you're using it for. Or to play Tamers without being punished too much. Ooh, our spicy tech of the deck, Chaos Degree. One reason why we do run a final one fall down mode is because it has purple in the sources. Also, it's a great dual color card that's searchable by our Digimon, but I digress. Chaos Degrade can sort of just stop a lot of decks. One great thing about this deck is they will not expect the Chaos Degrade. As long as you didn't show it in your searches, they will not expect it. So they might be a bit more aggressive with you, and you can sort of be okay with letting them hit security and just let them run into the Chaos Degrade. Oh no, what does Chaos Degrade do? Place one of your opponent's Digimon at the top or bottom of their security stack. If you do, trash top card. So that's its main effect. That's when you use it. And you can definitely just do that to like the big boss monster in enemies field in case they just left it there and passed turn. And security effect is pretty much the same thing. The only thing is that it doesn't trash top card of their stack, nor is it mandatory. You may place one of your opponent's Digimon face down. You typically use the may part. I think you just put it at the top of the security or bottom all the time. I think typically the top. I think with this deck you're stalling a bit more, so you wanna just know what you're gonna hit if need be. I'm saying that because Salamon needs is on deletion, so you want to put the card on top. So going to our next card, this is Manashita. Manashita is mainly a memory resetter. Another good thing is that it returns 1 purple Digimon or purple option. Now, our purple option is obviously Chaos Degrade. A Digimon is a Funimon fall down mode. Those are mainly what you're grabbing. If you want to drop down a Funimon fall down mode to a Death X, potentially, so it's like a better grab. Okay, going into our next tamer, we have Mimi. Mimi is all turns when a player uses an option card, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory, because all our memory boosts would be cost 1 cheaper. That's typically what you're using it for your turn, and just gain advantage of your Beelzemon, gain advantage of the boost, and just setting everything up. Another good thing is that it allows you to pay Chaos Degrade for a lot cheaper, and you can also tax your opponents. So for instance, you don't really need to really use options this turn. You don't really have any much advantage to use on your turn. Just save it for the opponent's turn and get ready to tax their option card. And also, if your opponent is a Black Greymon player, I would say save this card in your hand, because you they will try to use 84s, they'll try to use Black Greymon, delete your purple tamers. So you do want a cheap purple tamer in your hand to just play, and then play Chaos Degrade right away to put away the Black Greymon and just set them back a whole lot. So yeah, sometimes you do just want to hold on to this card. Next is TK. TK is gonna be our memory resetter. It's gonna filter our security. So on play, look into security and grab a card from there. If it's yellow, recovery 1. If it's not yellow, well, you don't get to recover 1. But typically our whole deck is yellow, so that's not a problem most of the time. Why is this important? Well, if it's champions and you don't really need it, I would say keep it in there, to be honest, because you want the Magnumon to eventually get to DB boost. And since we're not discarding a lot of the time, you want your opponents to help fund that armor from your grave. So yeah. Next we have Cody. Cody is gonna be one of our special boys for this deck. He's one of the best boys. So start your main phase. You have a yellow Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. Now, when you have a yellow Digimon, you have it all the time. With the armor deck, you will always have a Digimon on the board, as it can armor purge and sort of just stay on there forever. Also, so because it's our main phase, you can definitely just save a yellow Digimon in raising, and then promote it, gain the memory. Really good, especially that it costs 3. You definitely just keep playing these, just gain so much value. one of the key important parts about this card is the Your Turn effect. When one of our Digimon attacks, and it's a dual color card, you may suspend this Tamer to give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2k. And if you notice through our whole deck, everyone from our champions to our megas are dual color. So you can minus 2k for each Cody you have on the field. Let's say best case scenario, we have our Rapidmon on our turn to minus 5k. We have a Cody, minus 7k. Another Cody, 9k. If you want to spread the love across the board, and there's like 2 ultimates, you can minus 7k to each one. And right now let's focus on it just being one boss Digimon. So minus 9k, minus 11k, minus 13k, minus, let's say you have a Starmon, 17k. You can delete almost any mega if you're just fully set up, and it's crazy. Cody is a good card, the great card. As if you have a TK and a Cody, you have 4 memory. And as you play more Codys, you're just slowly just gain up that sort of mandatory memory. I do like 7 at most. So yeah, that's great value from this card. Okay, now going into our side deck, we have Salamon. So going into our side deck, we have Salamon. Salamon is end of turn DNA. No, I played this card already. I don't really like it too much since I think you don't DNA into Shakamon enough to really benefit off of this. I don't prefer it, but if you think your locals that you have been DNAing quite a lot and you think, man, if I had this, it would be great, go ahead, take it in. Okay, going into future sets. In EX4 coming out in mid-June or late June, we have Domon. Domon is a boy that can Digivolve on top of our yellows and is dual color for coding. Those are already 2 pluses. Another plus is on play or when Digivolving. So when you're Rapidmon minus 5k Digimon, let's say they're a Mega. Okay, they're 11k boy. You're minus 5k, they're 6k right there. Now what do? What you do then is Digivolve your Rapidmon or play this Domon and just bounce that Mega to their hand. So Domon is just sort of your finisher with the Rapidmon combo, I would say, and its inheritable isn't that bad since we do play a lot of option cards. So for this card, you want to replace the Shakamon, and the ultimates you can definitely dumb it down to a 3, since we're not going into our ultimate too much. So yeah, that's typically where you play this card. Okay, going to our last side deck card, we have Shadows Seraphimon. Just like Domon, it is in our next set. Now, what does this card replace? It will replace our Funny Fall Down mode. What's great about this card is that it taxes your opponents and it attacks security. They will de-digivolve once. And what's great is that it's not once per turn. So if your opponent swings at you with 3 checks, they'll be de-digivolved. Not that one Digivolve, you can de-digivolve 1 Digimon on the board. So you can definitely de-digivolve 3 for 1 Digimon or de-digivolve a wide board, which is really good. Another great thing about this Digimon is on deletion. Recovery +1, but the main part is its other effect. Then when your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4k for a turn for each card in your security stack. Now we just recovered. And also, again, I said this quite a bit, we are controlling the board. We're stalling, we're deleting big bodies the whole time. So when this card is deleted, you're going to delete a big guy. Let's say you're at 3 security because, let's say on the bad end, you are on 3 security, you're deleting a 12k at least. Okay, that's really big. It only gets bigger from there for each amount of security in your security stack. So you're recovered, and you go to 4 security, from on deletion, you're minus 16k. That is every mega unless they're DP boosted. So for you Wargreymon players that rated into Shadow Seraphimon, he is going to minus a lot more than that. So yeah, before he even checks, the checks might not even go through because Shadow Seraphimon may delete the Wargreymon. So Shadow Seraphimon is a big threat in almost any deck he gets put in, also especially in this deck. That's it for the deck profile, guys. This is my Holy Armor Control deck that is for both BT12 and going into the EX4 meta. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, any questions, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. And like, subscribe, and help this channel grow, because it'll be really appreciated. Alright, hope you guys have a great day, or not. The choice is yours. Goodbye.